bent on slavery. A giant robot has seized the peaceful world and carried it off. Aloha's evil plan is to turn it into a huge private retreat for himself. Universal City Hall, here to help the people. Robert can do the job. Let's go, Robert! Jump and go!
Ready to go?
STP. Hello guys and welcome to today's STPL. We are here for Wico versus NaS. It's the final series from week 6. Week 7 is not until next week. The games are being played on Sunday. So there wasn't meant to be a cast this week. I'm actually off work for a week, which is really nice. I actually really relaxed today and it felt really good. And I'm like, damn, I need to stream. Because then I actually had to start to think. But to be honest, it kind of got to the point in the day where I kind of felt like I wasn't really achieving anything anymore and I felt kind of depressed. So maybe this is a good thing. It's probably a good thing that I'm doing something now to keep my mind awake. But there we go. This is the matchups we're going to see today. It's a PvP between Haya and Dragon, a PvZ between Last and Striker, a ZVT between 973 and Whip, and then a PvT between Mars and Digger. Now, one interesting thing to look at before we go through everything is Wico aren't doing that well this season so far. 2 for 2 so far. NaS much higher with 3 to 1. Obviously, if Wico can win here, they're going to tie themselves up 3 to 2, and that will put them even with Red as well. But both of these teams are going to want to try and get as far forward as they possibly can to get the best seed into the playoffs. So NaS have been doing really well this season. Wico have done pretty well as well. One of their losses was a full walkover, but it's going to be cool to see how this is going to play out. Now, the first couple of players are going to be Wico's Haya for our first player here. He has done pretty well in the STPL historically. He's 5 for 2 overall. He's got a 66% win rate against Protoss in PvP, but that's only over 3 games, so not really too impressive. But his one loss so far was against Mighty, which is pretty impressive. So, and then if we have a look at his opponent is Dragon. Dragon has recently switched from CVP to PvP full time. That means his stats are completely unintelligible. He has lost his only 2. Well, he lost 1 PvP and then 1 ZVP against Quark in the last match they played. But yeah, it's we've not really seen any other PvPs from Dragon in the STPL. It's only been that one that he played against Quark and lost. So far, he's 0-1. Not really much else to say there, but let's have a look at the map stats as well. This is going to be our 5th PvP here on Holy World SE, which is kind of impressive given how many games we've had overall on this map. PvPs are usually pretty quick here, which does make sense as you do have a player, so both players starting on the low ground, with, of course, the high ground natural as well. So without further ado, let's get into game number 1. It's going to be here on Holy World. Okay, starting us off here in the bottom left-hand corner, fighting for NaS. It's Dragon in the orange. And his opponent spawning up here in the top left-hand corner, fighting for Wico. It's Haya. Yeah, Black Protoss looks pretty cool. If it is a problem on the minimap, I can change it, but hopefully it should be all okay. I can see it perfectly fine, so if it does become a problem, I'll just do Shift Tab because they did host on top versus bottom as they were supposed to. I just really like orange and I really like black, and they kind of contrast each other really well, so that's kind of why I want to keep it as this. This isn't the real, well, it is the real Haya, but it's not the Terran player known as Haya. He is known as Morgogi now, and he is on White Clan. That Haya has played in the STPL before though. Korean players have this thing about not really caring too much about what their actual game ID is, because everyone knows the pro gamers by their real name. So people just use their like IDs as just like a homage to them, I guess. Now Dragon goes to scout the middle of the map first, checking that there's no proxies, whereas Haya is going to be going around. Now Haya is going to probably get the first scout here eventually when both players do cross each other. The CC in the middle of the map is to be there so Zerg could infest it. Also 2-pack, it's not fake Haya, because this Haya is just full lowercase. It's a completely different person. Okay, 1 gate core for both players so far. Both players building the Zealot as well, so no major advantage for either player just yet. Looks like neither player wanted to take the... I don't think they saw each other's probes. So it looks like they're both going to scout around the same time. Although by the time that these probes actually get to the opponent's bases, there shouldn't be a way for them to get in. So we shouldn't really see too much scouting information coming in for either player. The first Dragoon is going to be out here for Dragon in time. And it will definitely be out here already for Haya as well. So Haya a little bit ahead in the production speed. But the probe may actually get in if this Dragoon gets very unlucky. The Zealot is out of position. Meanwhile on the other side of the map the probe has been forced back. The Zealot gets in the way and blocks. That's actually quite clutch. Not knowing your opponent's gateway count is pretty important. To be able to keep that hidden. You don't know what tech your opponent's going for either. We're going to have a Robo coming in for Haya. Most likely the same for Dragon as well, but you never know. I don't know too much about Dragon's PvP, he's not really played too much of it in my tournaments. But Dragon is going for a 3-gate, so it's going to be 3-gate. Is there going to be obs, or is he just going to go 3-gate all in? He is looking to take a quick win here off of Haya. A 3-gate on the other side as well, so both players going for 3 gates here. Both players going to have a lot of pushing power if they want it. Looks like Dragon is going to possibly expand, but never mind. I thought he was going to look to expand behind this, but no, it's just another Dragoon coming up. He will have the unit advantage early on at the very least, but when we do have the Robo support may come in, that's going to obviously change things just a little bit, as Reavers make this very difficult to make work. But Dragon is going to have to make something work with his initial push because he is behind in tech, and that does cause a lot of problems in PvP. So he'll find it a little bit harder to expand, he'll find it harder to do pretty much anything unless he super turtles, but that's very difficult to do, especially when Reavers start getting involved as well. But Dragon is going to save up for an expansion. Probe going to be coming out now. Never mind. I forgot you can't really afford a Nexus if you're building 3 Dragoons at once. You just build you build up a ton of minerals and then you build 3 Dragoons. So here we go. Let's see what this push is going to be like. The Observer is going to see this coming. So Haya is going to be able to pull back and get into a better position. Going to make use of this choke point to make it a little bit harder to push forward. But let's see what the micro is going to be like. Dragon's CVP micro is incredibly good. How is his PvP micro? So far, it's not been too bad. Both players trading 1 Dragoon each. Zealot usage from Dragon a little bit better here. He is getting a little bit better engagement here, although no, things are starting to turn a little bit south. It's so difficult to really tell what's going on, but looks like both players are going to trade completely evenly. Even the oh no, the Zealots are going to go in favor in the end of Higher, and this means Dragon's push is going to have to stop. He's always going to be down in Dragoons now, so he can't really afford this. He needs to pull back. And because this has happened, Haya is going to be able to expand completely free, and he has a massive supply advantage now, where he didn't lose as many units. So nicely done. Defender's advantage definitely helping out Haya just a little bit there. Dragon did keep some of his Dragoons back as well, just because he didn't know what his opponent was doing. So he couldn't be sure there wasn't DTs running towards his base. But even if there was, it wouldn't make any difference, because he doesn't have... Oh my god, it was 4-gate. So yeah, he was going major all in. 4-gate against 3, you should realistically be able to win that. But it's a bit rough. I don't think the 4th gate really came into effect yet, which is part of the problem. But he is going to be able to build up a big army, and let's see if that's going to be able to be enough to push through this Nexus, because Haya is looking to take the economic way out here. Whether or not that's going to work, I don't know, but Haya is going to see everything that's going on. So he is going to know to prepare once again. He pulls back. No, he's going to get ready to try and go in for a flank here. Now this could be a problem. But there's Dragoons on both sides against just Dragoons on one from Dragon here. There's no defender's advantage. He is quite far out from his base. The micro of Haya just a little bit better here. Definitely showing a little bit more PvP experience. I mean, that does make sense. Dragon, for most of his career, has played PvZ, but he does trade evenly, and he does, of course, have the extra gateway here, so he will be able to push. So he did get the better end of that in the end of it all, and this is going to allow him to push down this Nexus most likely. Of course, the 3 gateway is going to be coming back at home, but with 4 Dragoons reinforcing this, this should look a lot better here for Dragon, but Dragon is still very far behind in supply. He is 100% all in. The probe count is not even in the slightest, but he is going to hope to make this a one-punch play. Can he break in? Can he break through the front? Looks like he is trying to push forward with a decent number of Dragoons here. One of his goons getting stuck on the probe. Going to make this trade a little bit better for Haya. Haya with great probe usage here, actually, making this so much harder to make work for Dragon, but Dragon should have the better end of the engagement here. But the first Reaver is out, and this could very well be enough to turn the tide of battle here, because Dragon is all in. He has to break his way through with this. Dragon not pulling the damaged Dragoon back. And oh my god, the Reaver is going to absolutely annihilate this. I think this is going to be game over. Dragon cannot beat the Reaver. He doesn't have the units. He's going to try and kill it, but he only takes the shields down. The Nexus is going to come up anyway, and I think Dragon is probably going to have to leave this game, because he has no way of breaking through now. He's going to try and use his Dragoons to range down the Nexus, but unfortunately he's against a player with the same tech as him. But there we go, GG. Dragon knows he can't make that work anymore. His trades were not good enough. And unfortunately that means he does get his second PvP loss in a row as we get ready to go into game number 2. Okay guys, welcome back. We're here for game number 2, starting us off in the 12 o'clock position. It's Wico's last in the red. And his opponent, as our Zerg player in the bottom middle of the screen, is going to be in the blue, fighting for NaS. It's Striker. Okay, so I wonder how this game is going to play out. PvZ usually ends in one of two ways. Either the Zealot does a load of damage and all of a sudden the Zerg is on the back foot, or the Protoss dies to Hydras. So I don't know which variation we'll have, but we've got Nova Pool coming in here from Striker. Whereas we've likely got a Gate first. No, a Forge first coming in for last, given how fast this probe is scouting. Usually for a Gate first, you send your probe back to mine again. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean he's not going for that. He could also be waiting to try and go for a 12 next. But he has scouted the fact there is a pool coming up, and it's not a 12 hatch, so we are going to see a Forge most likely come down first. If not, that is a little bit risky. And there we go, Forge coming in. Next is probably going to go up straight after this, though, as he does want to look to expand. Last getting ready to try and block the expansion from Striker the best he can. Sometimes I wonder if this is actually worth it anymore, because it never really seems to do anything. Because what ends up happening is Zerg takes the close third anyway, so it's not like in the olden days where like the drone to take the third base would head across to the other map, or the other side of the map. But yeah, next is coming in. Third hatchery is, or it's the second hatchery, but where the third is. Extractors come up, so gas is on the way. Seeing the gas is quite important to know, because you know they're not going 3 hatch before gas. We've got the drone going for the third hatch now, and that is not going to be blocked. The probe is not going to be able to get there on time. If it does, it would take a miracle, and there we go, a miracle. Never mind. Never mind. I mean, the probe has to stay alive against the lings, so it's very difficult to block the hatch once the lings come out. Gateway coming in to finish off the wall. We've got a cannon here already. Should be getting ready to take the gas next. And there we go, gas coming in straight away. Hero Paul in chat saying it does nothing. Protoss players are just dumb and don't know it. I don't think that's necessarily true. I mean, it does delay their second hatchery a little bit. But unlike in, as I mentioned, the olden days where they would go and take another natural, which means they have to run across the entire map, they're not delaying it by that much. Like, Zerg are going to get the third hatchery around the same time anyway, I would say. And, like, you don't need the hatchery for the economy straight away. I don't know if I'm right. I could be wrong, but if someone wants to know, then let me know. And Mindflayer saying, what do you expect from guys who play the A-Click Go race? I mean, it's better than the SH race, right? The SH box A-Click Go. That's just... Zerg is basically Protoss with extra steps, but it's somehow easier. Just saying. That's why Zerg players always Hydra Bust, because none of them actually know how to play late game, because it's quite difficult to control. So they just end the game when they still only have 12 Hydras. But oh man. My hatred of Zerg is probably quite bad. But I think I'm probably one of the only Terran players who actually hates Zerg, right? Like, all the other Terran players hate Protoss. I just hate Zerg. I've had so many bad experiences playing against Zerg players, I'm just like, I can't take this anymore. PvZ is like Starship Troopers, which is fun. That's the only reason why that matchup is fun. I love that movie, so... PPC is Alien versus Predator. That's a fair point. Stargate coming in, but he went for a Citadel first. So leg speed is going to be faster, which means the Zealot push with +1 is going to come in a little bit faster. Now, the way he was able to do that is he had his probe alive for quite a while, so he knew that the Spire was maybe a little bit later. Lucky Noob in chat saying Protoss players need to go back to one base play. I honestly don't understand how that could possibly help, because Zerg are just going to get the 3 hatcheries anyway, and they still will be in the same position, but the Protoss will just be much further behind than they were. Like, I don't know how that works, Lucky Noob. Like, surely, I guess there is a way that you could maybe win the game on one base. Like, Varnis did do it quite a lot, like, in 2017, but I just don't see it working because it's so all in that it's not really worth it. If TBT is actually chess, what are the pawns? Right, because they can't be vultures because they move so fast. Right? I guess like the tanks are kind of like the pawn, right? Because they can't really move very far and very fast either. So they've got a lot of firepower. But oh, here we go. +1 Zealots coming in. Speed is done as well. He is going to be able to take down the first Sunken. The first couple of Muas are out here. The drones are coming back for some reason. I guess he wants to lose some of his economy. Second Sunken goes down as well. It looks like the Zealot's going to get forced away by the Sunkens. He is going to fall back with the Zealots. Well, at least he splits them up. This is actually really nice. Last doing a pretty good job here. Striker takes a little bit of damage, but not too much. But it should be enough to delay the initial push coming in from Striker. Okay, so let's come back in here to the mineral line. Are they going to be able to get enough damage done to make this worth it? The Sunkens are not yet done. Mulists are coming back, but Mulists don't actually do that much damage to Zealots until you get a huge number. The Sunken goes down again. The economy is unscathed though. But here comes a ton of Corsairs. I think Striker could be in a lot of trouble here. He doesn't have his Hydra switch done yet. He may be overdroned a little bit. Mu is all going down, and all of a sudden the Hydra Den is actually at the 3rd for whatever reason, and that is going to be going down, and that is probably going to be the end of the game. Losing your Hydra Den this early before you get any upgrades is pretty much terrible. And yeah, all the Corsairs all getting sniped by Scourge, but they do have +1 attack, so the Mulists doing pretty good. The hatcheries are going to be going down. The first couple of Hydras pop out and immediately die. Turns out if you don't have a control group of Hydras, they're pretty terrible. This is a lot of damage. I think Striker may have lost the game, but I think he's going to stay in for as long as he can here. But Last definitely showing why he's strong. We've got two DTs coming in here as well. There is a... okay, these DTs are going to die immediately. Never mind, DTs have like 1,000,000 health. Oh my god, Striker with a clutch block, only losing 2 drones there. But losing his 3rd hatcheries, he is so far behind. Yeah, Last is going to be feeling pretty good about that. Back at home, he now has 5 gateways. He's got double Stargate Corsair coming in. He does have Storm researched. He's got +1 attack on his Corsairs as well, as we saw before. +1 armor is done for the Zealots, so they're now 1-1. And a 3rd base coming in from Last as well. Is pretty much going to be the nail in the coffin here for Striker unless he can get the world's best Scourge hits. Looks like the one muter is here, but Probe going down. Corsairs heavily stacked up here, but that means they're going to have the advantage as the Scourge fly in. Looks like he is going to fall back just a little bit. Killing that one Probe is maybe not the best move, given he lost a couple of Scourge to do it. But this is just too many Zealots. There are so many Zealots flying back here, and I don't really know what he can do about this. He's got defense over at his natural, but there's nothing at his third base. He's going to have to cancel the hatcheries again. The Corsairs coming out, the Scourge coming out as well. No, the Corsairs are actually not out here at all. Archon's getting the Scourge, which makes it even worse. And the Mutalisks have gone all the way back to the natural, but I think they are going to die fairly soon after. Still no Hydras back here. His Hydra Den is in his natural now, but losing those two hatcheries is a massive deal. Didn't even cancel either of them, I don't believe. He did get some minerals, but I didn't see the drone, but there we go. GG. Striker taps out last, takes game number 2. Hey guys, welcome back. We are here with game number 3, starting us off here in the top right hand corner in the green, fighting for NaS. It's the Canadian Terran, Whip. And his opponent down here in the bottom right hand corner is going to be in the yellow, fighting for Wico. It's the Korean Zerg, 973. Okay, we've got a walling coming in here from Whip. Very kind of standard to do on this map. It's good if you go mech as well. Whip going for a 12 hatch most likely. No, 973 even. You can link type wall this by building your barracks here, and then you can build a little bit further over, then you build your other depot there. It's a good wall, but in this spawn, your marines spawn on the outside, which can cause you a few problems, and there is a lot more attackable area than there is defendable for repair, so you can die to Ling Bursts. Okay. Find out what's going on with the stats of the game. The spawning pool's coming up. Second hatchery is done. Whip is going into no gas, so he is going to expand. It's a 1 ranks fast expand with a wall, which is kind of interesting. Not the most standard of plays, but there we go. Okay, this isn't actually the optimal wall here. I don't think this is actually link tight. I'm not really sure what the purpose of this wall in was, but this isn't how you wall on this map. What you do is you build your depot here and you build the racks further down. But yeah, this is a very weird wall. Maybe he didn't want a fully wall, maybe he just wants a semi-wall, but just kind of strange. He is going into gas, so it is going to be a factory play behind this. And just pretty much everything is looking as it should do for kind of this form of opening, or this style of opening, should I say. The SCV wants to come in and get a scout, but is going to get a little bit stuck on the Zerglings. Is this drone going to go and block it? Nice block. Very nice block. Oh, that was very, very nice by 973. Whip did not get any scouting information there at all. He did stop the mining for just a wee bit, but that's not really going to cause too much of a fuss. Spire coming in. Second gas coming in as well. Looks like the restream chat, as I expected, is very laggy. There was actually a public announcement saying the restream chat may be broken. Some of the Twitch messages aren't showing there, so I guess that's something to look out for. I'll have to make sure I keep an eye on Twitch. Okay, so the first Mulus should be coming out here fairly soon. Should be around, given it was a 2 hatch, should be around 6:30, right? 973 would not be doing the 973 build. There's already 8 drones here, so he's not going to go for a Hydra Burst. Sorry, my concentration today is a little bit off again, but we've got a starport coming in and a factory, so it wasn't a mech build like I thought it was going to be. He's actually just rushing up to Valkyries. It's going to be a Valconic build here by Whip, and that excites me a lot, although his engineering bay is blocking his barracks, so I don't like that very much, but there we go. Lucky Noob saying he's doing the 973 dead Marines build, hopefully. I mean, if he kills 900 Marines in a game, that would actually be a pretty damn impressive game. I wonder what the highest number of Marine kills in a single TVZ is. That'd actually be a really interesting stat to have, but there's no way I'm going to try and look for it. I guess it would be like maybe not even the longest TVZ, because Just because it's long doesn't necessarily mean there's constant action. But I can only imagine it's someone like Flash who builds like 15, 20 Marines at the same time. You can't scrape Brood War replays for that data either, so you'd have to count them manually. Get a little ticker thing. Okay, Valkyrie gets first volley off on the Mutants as they take out the one turret. Interestingly, no upgrade coming in on the engineering bay yet. He is using a lot of his gas on Valkyries, so that does make it a little bit harder, but you should get those upgrades as soon as possible. Because one of the problems you have going for a Valconic build over that of just a standard bio build is your upgrades are later. Okay, double Valkyrie going for the Val micro there. Doesn't quite get it though, so does miss out on a free shot. Is going to sit back here with his 3 barracks. Now, one of the problems with walling in as well, when you're going for bio, is one of your barracks is in completely the wrong place. So if you macro by using screen hotkeys instead of hotkeys for the individual buildings, it makes it very difficult to macro. Like, you'll notice that this barracks isn't building nearly as often as the other two, and that's a problem because when you only have so few barracks, it makes it quite difficult. Like, you need as many Marines and Medic as possible to make this build work. And I mean, this barracks has been sat idle for ages now. And we're going to have a Vulture drop come in with speed. Now, this is something I didn't expect to see. It's not really a common follow-up either. Oh, is he going to go in with a bio drop and then go in with the Vultures by ground? That's a very clever choice, but whether or not it's going to work, he does need to be careful. He can't afford to lose these Valkyries. They are worth their weight in gold. Nice, he gets the micro, but no, the Valkyrie gets caught. Luckily enough, it survives. He is going to have to repair that immediately. So unbelievably lucky that that didn't die there. But looks like we've got some Marines trying to chase down the Muteless. Where have they gone? He's not too sure, so just keeping an eye out. He did get a later Academy due to his build, so his scans have been a little bit delayed. He's got quite a lot of energy on his scanners, so he's not really looking around too much, but now he's flipping into mech. This is such a cool choice. This is very fancy-esque, but no, he didn't fully repair the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie dies again. I hate looking at Valkyries dying, and oh no. Oh no. Oh dear. That didn't go well. If he could have elevated into the main, he would be in an incredible spot right now, but he has just lost his entire game plan. And that's going to cause a lot of problems. That was a very unfortunate place for that dropship to be at that time. And now watch as the bio tries to push in the front. But these underground units that do a lot of damage will probably stop this push before it can do anything. And losing those Valkyries earlier is a big problem. He's only got 1 right now. He does kill a couple of Overlords with it, but he doesn't have that pushing power to keep his bio alive from the Mutalisks. And he can't push anymore. Maybe Whip is just so unbelievably confident that he donated his dropship and he's like, I can win anyway. Maybe that's what it was. He does have mines, which is going to make pushing out on the map a little bit harder for 973. Oh no, the medics, no, the medics, oh no. Okay, he does manage to save them. Mind Flare, there's actually Valkyrie micro which uses patrol, which means you can fire and immediately turn the Valkyrie around and start moving. But it is very difficult to do because the angle you have to hit is just ridiculous. It's like a really specific angle at a diagonal, and it works like patrol micro on pretty much any other air unit. It's just with the Valkyrie it looks a lot more pronounced, because obviously the Valkyrie attack animation goes on for so long. And I've lost many games trying to do it when I used to play Brood War. I know it's probably not a good idea, not like admitting I don't really play Brood War anymore, but It's too stressful for me, man. I'm not good enough. I'm never going to be good enough, and that just becomes stress in amongst itself. The fact he switched to mech makes sense. He never got any bio upgrades. But imagine this bio push if he'd have had +1 as well. I mean, it doesn't really matter too much. He is going to be trying to expand to a 4th base very quickly because he will need his 3rd gas faster than the sun. Hero Poll saying no one is good enough. That is fair, but when it comes to me, I was very critical of how I was playing. So it just made me angry when I was losing all the time. And I don't really have the time anymore to like put enough time into Brood War to actually get good. And I don't have like the willpower to do it either, so I just stopped playing. I found it easier to do that. Now, Whip is going to show the fact he's going mech by filling a barracks down here. I can't play, like, Lucky Noob says play for fun. I can't. Like, I can't play Brood War for fun. I can play it to win, but then if I can't win, I get angry. And the reason I can't win is because I don't play enough, right? That's very standard. That's just the standard way of the game working, right? But it still doesn't stop it hurting, man. Like, it hurts losing all the time. Like, it's depressing. Okay, somehow this lane gets through without dying. Seems fair. Double expanding is 973 at the top of the map. We've got a lot of vultures coming down here to lay some more mines. If he can lay them quick enough, he is going to be the... Oh, there we go. The unit is underground and now it can't be hit. These mines, not hitting anything. Very, very unfortunate, but that's going to be a load of lings. They're going to be heading up here. Now, the one problem that Whip is going to have is he is triple expanding. If he can get these bases done and secured, he is going to be in an incredible position. But the issue he has is he is now spread so unbelievably thin. And the fact that 973 has access to a thing called the Nidus Canal means he can run in from both sides of the map at any time he wants. And that is going to be a problem. Now, there is going to be a defiler and a load of lurkers. Hopefully, for us, they all run into mines. Because if they get up to the other natural, it is going to be essentially go... Oh, no, he got so lucky! He got so lucky! Oh my goodness! The lurk or the mines targeted the wrong lurker. Gets the defiler, though. That is a good pick-off. Edgewood is saying in chat, Brood War is full of people who think that getting a bigger number in a computer game makes them more worthwhile. That is definitely true. Like, in terms of, like, the amount of people that are like that. And, like, people, like, disregard people's opinions on anything because their MMR is lower than theirs. And it's like, really? Really? Like, admittedly, someone who's better at the game is in a better position to make informed opinions about things. But from, like, an observer's perspective, and from, like, a theory crafting perspective as well, you don't actually need to, be actually good at playing the game to be able to theory craft. It helps, though. Oh, here we go, Mutinous coming in. There's no Valkyries here to stop this. There's no vessels either. Tanks are getting taken down by the bucket load here, and the Mutas are free to do whatever they want. A Goliath going to come in here. There is a big drop coming into the main. It is going to go up to the 3rd base as well. There's not really much defending here. It's going to the 4th even, but this is funny because he's going straight into a load of Marines, so the Marines are going to be able to destroy all of these. Never mind. Hydras are pretty strong. And that base is going to die. Is he going to infest it? No, he's just going to kill it. He should definitely have a queen up here. Yeah, this is looking a little bit rough for Whip. He's in a big amount of trouble right now. With not enough units defending any of his bases right now. He's in a lot of trouble, but where is the queen? Why is there no queen? Just infest the command center. Just imagine how much damage his Mutas could be doing to other buildings not trying to kill this, right? All you have to do is fly the queen in, you get a free command center. Infested Terrans, man, they're the future. They're the future. If you infested Terran bomb on a tank line, it is ridiculously overpowered. Now the Goliaths are slowly starting to clean up some of the Mutalisks. There's a large army pushing up here to the top right. Another command center could have been invested right now. But this is the problem. Whip spread too thin, too fast, not enough units, not enough upgrades. He's only on +1 attack right now. That is not good. And another command center getting taken down in the top left-hand corner. Whip is on the edge of his tether. There is nothing more he can really do about this. There's just way too many Zerg units. There are the medics from before. But obviously that doesn't help him too much now because he has no Marines. Yeah, this looks like it could be the end of the game here for Whip because Whip is so far behind. 973 has more supply in drones than Whip has overall. There we go. GG. Whip taps out. 973 wins the Series 3-0 for NaS. But we still have game number 4 coming up after this short break. See you guys soon. Okay guys, welcome back. We're here for game number 4. Starting us off here in the top left hand corner in the orange, fighting for NaS, it's Mars. His opponent spawning down here in the bottom right hand corner of Tau Cross is Digda fighting for Wico in the red. Mars is not a candy bar. There is a candy bar called a Mars bar, but it's M-A-R-S. At T45, there are no mirror-only tours in StarCraft because unlike some of us who do like mirrors, most people don't like them, so no one would watch them. And a lot of people don't even like playing mirrors, which is sad. I would love watching a TVT-only tournament. That would be the best tournament ever. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, that would beat out any Pro League, any OSL, I don't care, just TVT only tournament. Let's do it. Just imagine, like, how much of the maps would be figured out if you didn't have any, like, if you just had TVT, it'd be great. It's really funny, though, how, like, when most people are looking at mirrors, most people like their own mirror, but they hate the other two. I really like TVT, and I really like PvP, but I think ZVZ is boring as hell. ZVZ is, like, too much on a knife edge for me to enjoy. Like, it's over so quickly. If you make one mistake, that's game over. Yeah, the fact is, in mirror-only tours, every single map works, which I like. Like, you could play, like, Huarangado on, is it Huarangado or is it Huarangdo? The one where there's no gas in the natural? You could play that in a ZVZ tour and it'd be fine. TVT is great on all maps because every single tile on the map is useful in TVT. Inner Coven was very, very good for TVT. We also had that in STPL. It was called Core Breach. It was the updated version that didn't make it into ASL because it wasn't done in time. But yeah, Core Breach is a really, really good map. I almost bought it back again. I was seriously considering it because it was one of my favorite maps from before. But then I remembered we had a ton of like really long and kind of boring games on it that weren't actually fun. Now, Digda going for 1 gate core with range. I almost forgot we were watching TVP. We've got a factory coming in here as well with the add-on bunker coming up at the front. That's going to allow him to take his expansion. And there we go. Let's see if Mars can get a win on the table for NaS before the end of it all. It is going to tie up both teams 3-2, as I did mention before. There was a proxy factory coming in, but it did get scouted, so Digda definitely not falling for that trick. But that's going to put Mars down a little bit. He's just going to expand instead. But that delays his expansion by quite a lot because he was mining gas for quite a while to get enough to get the second thing. But he will be able to get siege very fast here at the very least. So that's something. I wonder if Digda is like the Korean name for Dig Dug. I don't know if it is. Or if maybe he's a fan of like the Japanese band Sold Out who has Diggy D. That's like the MC. And he just got the name from there. Like, I don't know where you would get Digda from in any other way. A weird name. Then you also have Mars on the other side with the extra A. I'm not really sure. Could be Dig Dug as well, the Namco arcade game from the 80s. I would think maybe it's just a random ass name, like all Korean names. Fair point. Engineer Bay coming in. Mars didn't really have too much scouting information, so he's going to have to build some safety turrets if he wants to make sure he doesn't die to DTs and to Reavers. Armory coming in as well, so late Academy. Safety turret coming up at the natural. Should be one in the main as well to defend against Reavers, but this is a very good map for Reavers given how much open space there is in the main. Now you can already see that when you look at Digda's vision, he's already got full vision of his entire base, whereas if we look at Mars, he's still got like some blind spots, especially down here. Like if something flies in, like he could even elevate her across here, and Mars would have no idea. And we have actually seen a player lose to that this season, but there's a safety turret in the main as well. Putting his tank in a position as well to not only defend the turret, but also have the turret defending the tank against any shuttles coming in. Now given the flow of the game so far, I would definitely say that Digda is in a little bit of an advantage. Mars was going to go for something a little bit cheeky, but it didn't work. And then that delayed his expansion. He has got +1 coming in at a pretty decent time at the very least, so that is something as we get further into the mid-game. But the Observer's going to fly in here and see everything anyway, so nothing going to be hidden away from Digda's eyes. And that is essentially the best place you could possibly be in as a Protoss player. If you have vision over their production, over their anything really, if you know what they're doing, there is absolutely nothing to be scared of from the Terran perspective. So Digda can essentially play this game how he wants now. He knows there's no 6-fact all-in coming for him, and that means he's likely going to take an expansion, but I'm not sure I really agree with taking this expansion. I think it'd be better to take the other main, because it forces the Terran away from your main base. If we just see Mars push down from the natural and go into the third base here, he is going to be able to pretty much guarantee take out the base because of this bridge. Obviously it does mean that Digda can come across this bridge and come behind, but I don't think Digda is really going to do that. Now, if we're even going to see Mars get to the point where he can push, that'll be quite entertaining, but right now he's kind of sat in his base, still not really sure what's going on. This is the first glimpse of the Protoss tech he's had this entire game. So he now knows what's going on. He's seen the gateway count, he's seen the observatory done, and he's seen the robo, and he didn't see any other tech, so he's going to be feeling pretty good. Now there is a Goliath here which should be able to push away the observer, but there's also a Reaver coming in. Now where is this Reaver going to drop? Now he just laid a mine, but I'm not sure. Oh, he laid the mine over here. Okay, this is actually a really nice mine spot. You're not really going to have any units there, so you're not going to mine drag onto your own stuff. That's a bonus. Looks like the shuttle's going to fly away without really doing anything. He's going to try and come back in here. He will find the second armory at the top, but no, he's going to fly away. The support bay was in the top right hand corner of the base. Obviously Mars didn't see that coming. But Mars should know that Reavers are a possibility at this point in the game. He's going for a lot of turrets to try and kind of zone out any shuttles and also stop any more observers coming in. But as we already know, there is one in his base, so not going to be able to help too much about that. And the trouble is with the Reaver out, it makes it very difficult for Mars to be able to push as well. So Mars is going to be on the back foot, going to be defensive. Looks like Digda wants to go for a bust. And now if this bust does not work, Mars has a way back into the game. But it's going to be tough. Now building the command center here is definitely a weird choice because it is so far away from the third base. It's better to build it up here, or just move the tank down and build it here as well. But I suppose he's just going for what he knows best here. He does have his tanks in a decent position, so they're going to be able to defend his natural. That's not the end of the world, but it is just additional time where he's going to be falling behind, which you don't really want in a TVP. But he is most likely to be waiting for 2-1 before pushing. He can't really afford to push anytime soon, so does need to be very careful. Moving out here does get a scan on the observer, but the Goliath is not in a position to be able to kill it. It's going to get away with 1 hit remaining, 2 hits remaining. But he is going to look to expand up to the top middle. We've got Digda getting ready to take another main as well. He's also got a probe down here at the mineral only, but not really worth taking this base at all. At this stage in the game, getting the other main is definitely going to be better. Now, we've got a lot of shuttles coming in. Zealot's getting on top of the tanks. The Reaver coming in. Massive shots on the tanks here. And the Dragoons should be able to clean up absolutely everything here. The Reaver did go down, I believe I heard. But these tanks are going to all go down. This third base is not going to be able to go up. And I think that was a misplay by Mars, pushing out a little bit too fast, a little bit too soon. I guess that means... Oh my goodness. That was an amazing mine. Imagine if it killed all of these Dragoons. That would have been the... Oh no. NaS are doing a pretty good job with dropships today, just saying. 2 dropships flown straight into the enemy units. Probably a misrally there, but... Yeah, that's rough. That's a very rough situation. Mars is now pretty much in an unassailable position. Obviously, Digda taking the mineral only instead of the other main. I'm not really sure what this probe came up here for, but... I guess he was kind of undecided, but now he is so far ahead, he should just take the other main anyway. Like, he is going to be... He's going to find it hard to lose this game. Essentially, Protoss are now in a position where they shouldn't necessarily lose. We've got double upgrades coming in as well, which is absolutely insane. We've got a load of extra gateways coming in. High Templar are done. Storm is coming in as well. Digda does not... Well, Digda sees the additional tech, but he doesn't know if there's a Stargate or not. We, of course, know there isn't. Digda going for the kind of more... It's weird how this style has become so popular, but just Best was doing this against Scan on stream earlier, where essentially you just build so many shuttles that it doesn't matter how many Goliaths you have, you just can't stop them. It's almost better guaranteed damage than Arbiters are as well, because Arbiter Recall puts all the units in a big clump, whereas all the shuttles spread out the units a little bit more, which makes them better against tank lines. Also, obviously, Arbiters usually die on the first push in, whereas dropships can come in and out, but I guess the problem is you use a lot more supply on like 5 shuttles than you do on just 2, or just a single Arbiter. But still, Digda taking the other base, which isn't the main. I don't quite understand why you would bother doing this. You may as well just take the other main. You know he can't attack you, and you can build gateways up there and just kind of secure your victory that way. Now, Mars does have 2-1, but let's see what this is going to do. The first shuttle coming in does go down before being able to do anything, but the second one comes in. Interesting use of the micro there, going to send them in one by one. Storm coming down on the tanks. Dragoons pushing forward. The tanks unable to do too much here, all of them going down, and I think this could be the nail in the coffin. The third base is going to go down. There wasn't enough defense. GG. Mars taps out. And Digda wins game number 4. Okay, so that was the end of the series. I think realistically, NaS are going to be a little bit disappointed with their performance. I think the players they have could definitely beat the players that Wico fielded. I think they just didn't have the best matchups for the players. Like Dragon... If he had 973, I think 973 would definitely have a much harder time. Getting a PvP for Dragon is quite rough, I would say. Like, I know he PvPs a lot on ladder now, but compared to his like ZVP experience, like I mean I only know as a casual observer, right? I'm not Dragon. Striker wasn't versus the real last, and Dragon wasn't versus the real higher either. We could just have 2 players with the same name as pro gamers because they want to be confusing. But essentially, like, if the matchups were maybe slightly different, like, I think if Striker, well, I think he either had a ZVZ or ZVP, so either way, I definitely think it could have gone a little bit differently here. Whip, I think I would say is probably better at TVP than he is TVZ, and I think Mars is probably a little bit better against TVZ from what I've seen. So it's a little bit confusing with the names and everything, but good play by Wico. That's going to tie them up with NaS. I think NaS are still going to be just a little bit ahead with the game score. But that is going to be it for me for today and for this week. I'll be back on Monday next week with week 7. I'm going to go find someone to raid. I'm going to have a very good week off from work, so you guys have a good time as well. And I will see you guys next time. Interestingly, Winter's set to StarCraft 1 for some reason, but he's playing StarCraft 2. That's very confusing. I'm going to host Dreamer. I'll see you guys next time. If you're watching this, you're watching the STPL. Hopefully, you've been enjoying what you've seen so far. If you want to help me make more STPL content to bring more tournaments to you, please support us on Patreon, which you can find up here. And also, there's so many different things you can get through Patreon. One of the main and one of the easiest ones to get is, of course, access to all of the replays of the STPL so far. We've had some amazing games, such as some of the games you can see just over here.